And so when the kids are like 18 and they try to open a credit card, they're told like, oh, you can't because you don't have good credit. And then the parents are like, well, what do you mean? My child's never opened a credit.
It's Yuntaku time with Akko and Tamo.
What does Yuntaku mean? It's an Okinawan word from the islands of Okinawa, which means chit-chat. We want to invite you to our kitchen table and include you in our chit-chat to explore new ways of thinking, to welcome different perspectives,
And we want to share ideas on how to love yourself, love your partner, and shower your children with love.
This is episode 44.
And the topic of the day is, do this before you lose your wallet. And before we get started, please take a quick moment to subscribe to our show. Now let's get back to our recent happenings. So recently, we just had our first parent conference.
Yeah, as parents, our first conference.
Yeah.
I was a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
We were like, do we bring the kids? Do we not? Was it one parent? We didn't really know how it really works as far as to bring the kid or not.
And it was because we wanted to go together. Both mom and dad wanted to go together. And so we decided to take our two kids. Now, of course, if we did have help, then we'd probably just go together.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't really have that type of help. So the kids came with us.
Yeah.
And I have to say it was a little distracting, but I was trying to be focused enough so that I can listen to the teacher and take in all the inputs that she had to give. And it was great. It was very positive things. It felt really good that our daughter is going the right trajectory.
Yeah. And she's developing and improving on her motor skills. So it was great to hear.
Yeah. And she was trying to show us how she does things. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, she was pretty excited. And she kind of got into the rhythm of being at school. So she wanted to probably show us like what she does.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And her brother just started walking. So he was all over the place too. It was pretty funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a new place. So I'm going to explore everything. You know how that is.
Yeah. Let's go into the topic of the day, which is do this before you lose your wallet. So the reason we have this topic today is, yes, we personally experienced this just recently. We had a lost wallet. And so we'll be sharing that story with you. And we want to share what we learned. So things you need to do now before you lose your wallet. And hopefully that never happens. And then also, if your wallet does get lost, things you need to do if you lose it. So yeah, we want to share all that. And hopefully it'll give you food for thought and get you prepared just in case. So Akko, let's share that story.
Yeah. So what happened was I was returning some items at a department store. And apparently when I was pretty much getting into the car, I'm loading the kids up in the car. And before I put the kids in the car, I always sanitize their hands. So I took out my sanitizer. And I think while I was taking out my sanitizer, that's when my wallet fell out. And I don't have the typical wallet where it's a long rectangular wallet. I have a small square compact one. So honestly, if it falls out, it's not easily noticeable unless you like look around the floor. So yeah, that's what happened. I took out the sanitizer. Apparently at that time, my wallet fell. And then I drove off and I was like, where is my wallet hours later? And I actually didn't realize that I lost my wallet until after I ran another errand to go to the post office, and then I came back home, and then I went to the store and I was like, where's my wallet? So that's how I found out that I lost my wallet. So a few hours had already gone by. Yeah. And luckily,
we had placed a tile tracker with her wallet. In our YouTube channel, we've talked about the tile tracker. It's a tracking device that allows you to figure out where your belongings are. There's a key fob in a wallet. It looks something like a credit card that you place in your wallet. And we had placed that in her wallet. And so we were able to see that, yes, it had moved. It moved quite a bit from one city to another.
Yeah, exactly.
And the benefit of the tile tracker is that there's something called a community find feature where you can report that your wallet, keys, or whatnot is missing. And then if someone in the community finds it, they can report, hey, it's been found. Now, when they say it's been found, there's no way for you to contact that person who found the wallet. So there's difficulty there. And so we actually followed the GPS and tried to find the wallet, but we weren't able to.
Yeah, we weren't able to because a phone with the tile app needs to be close by.
And so what happened was the GPS showed one location, but by that time it was already too late. We went to two different locations, which were quite far apart, but we checked and obviously we weren't able to find the wallet. We just went back home
And then I had already locked all my credit cards at that point. And so just to let you know, there's two things you can do. You can either lock or cancel, but I decided to lock my credit cards because I just had that feeling that my wallet might come crawling back to me. So I decided to lock it.
Yeah. And so with that, what happened was we were very fortunate that the person who found the wallet was very helpful they actually came to our place, left a note saying that they found something, and then Akko contacted them.
Yeah. She graciously left a phone number so that I can contact her. And yeah, I got my wallet back the next day.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And when you do experience things like that, it gives you hope for humanity, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I learned with using the Tile Community Find feature is for those who do use Tile, I would recommend this. So if you ever find something that has a tile on it, you connect it to your phone, say that you found it, and then if you can place it in an area that's relatively safe, make sure it's safe and difficult for your regular pedestrian to find, and then just leave it there. I think that could be a really nice way for the owner to retrieve their wallet or keys or whatever it is. Because other than that, I really don't know how you would contact that person to tell them where it is, because Tile doesn't allow you to contact the person. Fortunately, in our experience, it ended well, right?
Oh yeah, I got my wallet back. Luckily, I had my driver's license in there.
Yeah, everything, right?
Yeah, everything was in there. Yeah, I was very lucky that I was able to get my wallet back in one piece.
Yeah, so what we want to share next is the things that you want to do now to protect your wallet. It's very simple. You want to minimize the number of credit cards you place in there and take out all the non-essential stuff. For example, social security cards. You probably do not want to...
You do not want to put that in there. So
Right.
make sure you yourself do not have that. Also your parents, because a lot of the older generations tend to keep those cards in their wallet, at least for people that I know. They like to keep their social security in their wallet and make sure that they remember it and leave it at home.
Yeah, so again, minimize the number of credit cards and just take out all the non-essential items. And also add a tracker, just like we did. A Tile tracker works well. Also, the Apple AirTags work well. I've seen wallets that you can add the Apple AirTags, and of course it makes it a little bulky, but it might be worth it. So in our case, I think the Apple AirTags would work well. I think it would be, the GPS would be a lot more real time, but then you'd have to track that person down. Whereas Tile, you can have actually someone who finds it. If they leave it in a place that you can find it yourself, that really works too. So I think it's a give or take, maybe even adding both if you really want to keep things safe. So because the thing is with the Apple AirTag, if you go away a little too far, it'll ring and let your phone know, hey, your X, whatever that X is, or your wallet or your car or your key fob or whatever is far from you now. It lets you know.
I have a question. Does the AirTag, does it ring too?
The AirTag does ring. Yes,
Okay,
it can make a sound, just like the Tile tracker. Yes,
Okay.
it will. If you'd have to push ring on it on your app, but
Okay.
yes, it does. It does ring. So
Okay, great. And the Tile does too, so.
yeah, it does. It does. That's a great point. How do you find it? So if you get close enough to like the Bluetooth range, what happens is you can ring the Tile and then you can listen for it and find it. So yeah, that's usually very helpful.
And the range is about what, 200 feet or so?
Yeah, it depends. Some of the more pro trackers are
that's
like
right.
400. It'll really depend on which model you get. But yeah, it's great. Again, let's go back to the things you want to do to protect your wallet. Again, you want to minimize the non-essential items, minimize the number of credit cards. Take it out if you don't need it.
You don't need it. You only need it really to go to the bank because they have to verify identity or withdrawing money. But other than that, that's probably about it as long as you have a credit card. So
Yeah. And also cash, just carry cash that you're okay with losing. And unless you have a real reason to transport cash, just be careful there. And also, you can now add a lot of these credit cards or membership cards to your phone. So do that.
yeah.
And so doing that. And also, I would recommend using a password manager. So something like 1Password or LastPass or Dashlane. There's a lot of these password managers. And for me, what I do is I take a photo of the credit card front and back and then put it in the password manager. So just in case, for example, if it gets lost, you know what number to call or whatnot. Nowadays, you can just go to the website to lock cards and things like that. But I did that for when I was traveling abroad. So that's another idea. And in my case, I only carry 2 cards, my ID and my credit card. And I use like a phone wallet type of thing where the phone and the card holder is one thing. So it makes things so much easier because I don't have to say, hey, I need to carry this, I need to carry this, I need to carry this. Instead, I just carry my phone and my keys and I can go out.
Yeah, and yours is really discreet too. It looks like a case.
Phone case, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a hard phone case and it's really nice. A lot of people, they have the flap, but yours is not at all like that. So it looks pretty sleek and doesn't look like there's a card in there.
Yeah.
So it works out.
Yeah, and I know that not everyone can just survive with only 2 cards. Sometimes you need to carry a lot more cards. So yeah, there are phone cases that have that kind of like, it looks a book when you open it, right? Like a folder or whatnot. You can put a lot more cards in. So yeah, look into that because usually, unless you tend to lose your phone, okay, now if that's the case, that's a different story too. But usually I think people are pretty good with keeping their phone close to them.
Yes.
And yeah, but that's an idea. And so if you think this episode is helpful for other parents, please share it. And if you haven't, please take a quick moment to subscribe to our show. So Akko, let's talk about what to do when it's lost. What did we do?
So when it's lost, so what I did first was go into my credit card app. For example, if you have Chase, if you have Wells Fargo, and then you go in, and what I did was I deactivated my card or lock my card, and that makes it so that you can't do any more transaction. So it's a temporary lock. And then if you truly lose it or it's stolen, then you want to just cancel the card. But there is a feature out there that puts in a temporary lock for you.
Yeah, and if you log in to your credit card app or the website, and if you don't see it, then call the 1-800 number for the credit card company and just let them know that you lost it and you want to place a hold or lock. Usually it's called lock, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's called lock. I think the ATM was called deactivate, but for the credit cards, it was called lock. And it's really simple. It's immediate. Once I got my wallet back, I unlocked it and then I was able to use it within, I don't know, even a minute.
Great. And also depends on really what you lose and the situation of how you lost it. Some people may need to file a police report, and this may depend on obviously what country you live in and then what state you live in. So you'll have to look that up. But also setting up fraud alerts.
Yeah, fraud alerts with the credit bureaus. You want to protect your identity.
Yeah, especially if you lose something like a social security card, things like that.
Yes.
It's a lot more serious, so you'll want to do that. And, you know, when you do lose it, it's easy to panic. Oh, no, where is it? But just to keep a calm mind and take a few deep breaths, because the more calm you are, the better you're able to make these decisions. So,
and I also want to add like a little bonus tip, talking about credit bureaus and everything. Maybe like a couple years ago, I had to help a friend file a police report because they got into a situation where someone forged their checks. So what the police officer there was telling me was a lot of people actually use your children's social security and they open accounts up. And so when the kids are like 18 and they try to open a credit card, they're told like, oh, you can't because you don't have good credit. And then the parents are like, well, what do you mean? My child's never opened a credit card. But lo and behold, people have used it by somehow gaining access to your children's social security numbers. And us as parents, we don't really think of even checking our kids' credit score, or we don't think of doing that. So what the police officer had advised me was that I go ahead and put a freeze on our children's social security number, because obviously they're not going to have any use for it until they're old. Yeah. So that's what he advised me. And he did it for his 2 kids. And yeah, he said it happens more often than not is what he was saying.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think for all those that are listening, that's a really big one. Putting a credit freeze on your children's social security number. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I hope this helps.
Yeah. And also we'll be linking the Tile Tracker, Apple AirTag, and some phone wallet cases. So check it out if you're interested in adding a tracker to your wallet, or maybe even your keys. Do you lose your keys often? Or how about even your remote? Does it go missing because your son or daughter takes it somewhere and hides it? You can just add these trackers to anything and find it quite easily. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, even if you lose your phone a lot too, like your kids can take your phone a lot. I've heard friends where their kids put their phone in the trash can. Yeah. And they had to go into not the small trash can, but they had to go into the big trash can because they heard ringing. And so the tile also and the AirTag,
The tile does, the AirTag doesn't. So that's a really good
so that's a good
difference.
point.
Yeah.
So the tile, if you press it, it actually rings your phone. So AirTag doesn't. If you're in the fence about which one you want to get, go ahead and do your pros and cons list.
Right. So again, with the tiles have a button that you can push, and it actually goes the opposite way, and you can find your phone because your phone will start ringing. Now, AirTag doesn't. You can find the AirTag with your phone, but it doesn't allow you to ring your phone from the AirTag, but the tile can.
Yeah. So there you go. There you have it.
The question of the day is, have you experienced a lost wallet or lost something valuable? Please share it on our website.
We'd love to hear from you. Please come say hi by commenting on our website by going to akkoandtamo.com and clicking on the podcast tab.
All right, till next time.
Bye.